Hare Krishna, welcome everyone for the Sravan Utsav, and a special welcome to His Grace Damodar Prabhuji. Prabhuji, please accept my dandavat. We are very fortunate to have His Grace Damodar Prabhuji today for our Sravan Utsav, where we are meditating and hearing the pastimes of Lord Krishna from Krishna Book. So, a quick introduction of Prabhuji. Prabhuji has been here before in our previous Sravan Utsav series. Prabhuji is a faculty at Bhakti Vedanta Vidyapit in Govardhan Eco Village, from where he is going to give lecture now. Prabhuji teaches Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He also teaches Bhakti Shastri and Bhakti Vaibhav courses at Mayapur. Prabhuji is a member of the Care Counselors Board at ISKCON Chowpatty. And Prabhuji travels to conduct the devotee care courses, which is an initiative of ISKCON GBC. Prabhuji holds a master's degree in mechanical engineering from the India's prestigious university, Indian Institute of Technology, which is IIT Bombay, from where he has graduated. And under Prabhuji's guidance, the kitchen at ISKCON Chowpatty and Govardhan Eco Village is ISO 22000 certified. Can you imagine that? Prabhuji has certified our kitchens to ISO 22000. Not only that, Prabhuji's kitchen team has been successfully organizing Mega Yatra Kitchen on wheels, feeding 6,000 devotees daily in their annual Kartik Yatras and around 10,000 pilgrims every day in Kumbh Melas. Prabhuji's team was also featured on Discovery Channel, where there was an episode on ISKCON's kitchen on wheels. So Prabhuji is a very versatile devotee. He can actually cover many areas from kitchen to like the preaching area and all the things in between, like the devotee care and everything. So we are very fortunate that Prabhuji could find some time for all of us to speak on Krishna Leela from Krishna Book. So let us welcome Prabhuji by loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Over to you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ambrish Maharaj Prabhu. I'm just a small brahmachari trying to do little service to my spiritual master and to the Vaishnavas. So again, a wonderful initiative to repeatedly hear the pastimes of Krishna, which are the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, and which are especially very sweet. So the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada himself used to relish hearing Krishna Book repeatedly, and he encouraged us to do so. So I feel fortunate to be a small part in this great initiative. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Grateful to Ambrish Maharaj Prabhu, Mother Manjari, and to all of you. Okay, so we are going to today study here this chapter 45th. Krishna recovers the son of his teacher, Sandeepani Muni. This is just after the killing of Kamsa, and we will see 5 episodes in this chapter. First of all, Krishna consoles his father Vasudeva and mother Devaki. This is the first episode of this chapter. Then after doing that, Krishna will install Ugrasen as a king again, because the king Kamsa has been killed. In the third episode, Krishna and Balram, they will bid farewell to Nand Maharaj and cowherd men who had also come to take part in this, the sacrifice which Kamsa had organized. In the fourth episode, Vasudev will arrange for the second initiation and also for the Gurukul program, Gurukul study of Krishna and Balaram. That's the fourth episode in this chapter. And finally, after completing the studies, there is Guru Dakshana has to be given. So Sandeepani Muni asked for his dead son to be brought. And so based upon the last episode or the last section of this chapter has been entitled Krishna recovers the son of his teacher. Okay, so now that Krishna has killed Kamsa, Krishna is approaching his father Vasudeva and mother Devaki. And of course, first of all, we also understand that Krishna is simultaneously born to Vasudeva and Devaki and also to Nanda and Yashoda. He is simultaneously born. And the Acharyas have explained that Vasudeva Krishna then merges with Yashoda Nandan Krishna. So Devaki Nandan Krishna, later when Vasudeva takes him after the birth, as we read in Srimad Bhagavatam, that Vasudeva Krishna merges with Yashoda Nandan Krishna. So that is the Siddhant or the truth given by Vishwanath Thakur. But of course, generic understanding is that, as we shall see also in this chapter, that Yashoda and Nanda are like the foster parents, and the birth-giving parents are Vasudeva and Devaki. That's the generic understanding. Okay, so now Krishna approaches his parents, Vasudeva and Devaki, who were standing in a reverential attitude. So it's mentioned that Krishna expanded his Yoga Maya potency at this point of time. The Yoga Maya potency will cover their reverential attitude and will make them feel that Krishna and Balaram are like our sons. So Prabhupada writes, in this material world, the relationships are established by the material energy. So the material energy or the illusory energy makes us think that we are related with this and this person in this and this capacity and so on. So all the relationships in this material world, if they are not centered around Krishna, they are all illusory. And illusory energy makes the relationships possible. But in the spiritual realm, it is Yoga Maya which helps to establish pure relationships free from awe and reverence. So therefore, just like Mahamaya, illusory energy bewilders the living entity, the Yoga Maya bewilders the pure devotees, and their knowledge of Krishna's Godhead, being Godhead, is covered. And thus the relationship that Krishna is my son, free from the knowledge of his Aishwarya, that is established. So Krishna expanded, specifically mentioned, Krishna expanded his Yoga Maya potency in this particular case. So now Krishna and Balaram are speaking, especially Krishna is speaking over here to Vasudeva and Devaki. Krishna is saying, my dear father and mother, you could not enjoy the pleasure of having us your babies. So, there are two pleasures mentioned in household life. One is to have the pleasure of babies, when the babies are playing their broken talks, broken language, when the babies start to speak something, start to walk, right? When the baby recites Narsinga Arati, the parents are excited. They have been hearing Narsinga Arati for so many years, but when the child recites the Narsinga Arati for the first time, that brings the special joy to the parents. So raising children, seeing their childhood is a great joy. Also, Krishna says, having a joke, sometimes having joke, husband and wife amongst each other, and having a loving quarrel, that is also enjoyment of the family life. So Krishna is saying herein that, my dear parents, you could not enjoy our childhood, raising us as babies. So, and then Krishna and Balaram continues. They were saying that you were always so anxious for our protection, and that is why immediately you transferred us to another's house after birth. And they also say that we actually cannot repay. You have done so much for us. You have always been protective about us, and you suffered so much, and we could not help you. Krishna and Balaram say that we could not help you because Kamsa, out of fear of Kamsa, we just could not do anything. Now this is quite amazing, because Bhagavatam says the fear personified is fearful of Krishna. But Krishna says herein that, out of fear of Kamsa, we could not help you out, you have to suffer so much. And explicitly the Lord says, please forgive us. Now, objectively analyzing, these statements will not make sense. If we objectively analyze this statement where Krishna is saying we were afraid of Kamsa, we could not do anything, and so on. But these statements have been spoken from the heart. Therefore, principle is what is spoken from the heart should not be analyzed with the head. Right? So one should not mix the two. Otherwise, it will cause a misunderstanding, right? Or it may even cause conflict. When something is spoken from the heart, analyzed with the head, that creates an incompatible situation. To give you another example of this is the important principle. Lord Chaitanya tells his mother, I have taken sannyas out of some madness. I should not have taken sannyas. I should have served you. So some scholars, they take the lines as it is, right? Because we also say Bhagavad Gita, the words of scripture should be accepted as it is. So since they look, Lord himself is admitting that he made a mistake in taking sannyas. In his own word, I should not have taken sannyas, explicitly written in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I should have served you. In some madness, I took sannyas, right? But I will never become indifferent to you. So like that. So Lord Chaitanya speaks. So if you see, now again, Lord Chaitanya has spoken those from his heart. Again, it should not be, the word should not be analyzed with the head and taken as it is. So therefore, this is Lord Krishna herein, and Lord Chaitanya to Mother Sachi is addressing the emotions. He's not speaking Siddhant over herein. He's addressing the emotions. So therefore, there is another reality. There is one thing is the objective reality. One thing is the objective reality, that is Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the objective reality. But there is another reality, which is the reality of emotions. That's also a reality. It's emotional reality. So Mother Yashoda, she doesn't consider Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She considers him to be her son. And Nanda Maharaj considered Krishna to be his son. And that's a higher reality. That's a higher reality. Because in the first canto of Bhagavatam, there is a Paribhasha Sutra, which is Krishna's to Bhagavan Swayam. Paribhasha Sutra means the defining principle. So when we are hearing all the pastimes in Srimad Bhagavatam, we should understand the truth is Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, source of all avatars. But the defining principle, the Paribhasha Sutra, changes in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It changes. So the higher reality, right, which Mother Yashoda considers that Krishna is Harim Sa Manyat Atmajam. That Supreme Lord Hari is my son. So she doesn't consider him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She considers him to be the son. He's my son. That's the reality I know. Therefore, that reality stands above this reality. Harim Samanyat Atmajam. That reality stands above. And Vishwanath Thakur says that is the Paribhasha Sutra of the 10th canto. That Krishna is the son of Yashoda. So therefore, the emotional reality stands above objective reality when there are dealings of pure love. When there are dealings of pure love. So herein, therefore, we understand, herein the Supreme Lord is speaking, addressing the emotions of his parents. They have suffered a lot. They have made a lot of sacrifice, Vasudeva and Devaki. Therefore, the Lord is consoling them. He is just feeling and also speaking from the platform of just being their child. Krishna is just considering himself to be their helpless child. And now, because they could not enjoy the Vatsalya Ras, right? For both Krishna and Balaram, they were raised by Yashoda and Nanda. So because they could not enjoy, Krishna and Balaram now wants to give them that pleasure. So therefore, they both are presenting themselves to be, we are just your helpless sons. So they are speaking from that platform. Speaking that platform. So they continue. And then Krishna and Balaram say that, my dear parents, the debt the children owe to their parents cannot be repaid, even hundreds of births. So therefore, because just it's by the arrangement of the parents that the child gets a body, and through the body only, this body is the principal tool for achieving any purushartha, means the goal of life, whether it's dharma, artha, kama, moksha, or the pancham purushartha, which is love. So in this way, the Lord continues. He says, I'm reading from the Krishna book. If a person, this is from the second paragraph, somewhere middle. If a person is able to care for or give protection to old parents, children, spiritual master, brahmanas, and other dependents. So therefore, we understand the Vedic culture means give protection to elderly, the brahmanas, the children, the women. Okay? So these five should always be protected: children, women, elderly, brahmanas, and the fifth. Here Prabhupada mentioned the spiritual master. Of course, the brahmanas comes under that. Yeah, the cows. The fifth are the cows. In the Vedic culture means the five should always be protected: the children, women, elderly, brahmanas, and the cows. So basically, all those who are dependent, they should be protected. And if a person is able to give care or protection to them, so the parents are included here in the context, because Krishna and Balaram are addressing their parents. So if the person is able to give protection but does not, then a person is considered very sinful. That person is punishable by Yamaraj and his attendants. So in this way, Krishna and Balaram, they speak just like helpless children, in a very sweet, in a very affectionate way to their parents. And thus, what's the result of that? Vasudeva and Devaki, they were filled with transcendental pleasure. They started showering tears of affection, just flowed from their eyes. Those were tears of love. And that was the purpose why Krishna and Balaram spoke in this affectionate way. Thus, they, with their heartfelt speech, in order to give pleasure, in order to console Vasudeva and Devaki, Krishna and Balaram spoke these sweet words. They very affectionately addressed their parents. So, actually, there is a, regarding speaking sweetly, there is one Subhashit. Subhashit means good advice given in the scriptures. Said the best gift one can give, which is easily available and which doesn't cost anything. Okay? Like sometimes we have to give gift to somebody and we have to scratch our head. What can we give as a gift to someone? And that will please a person. So the best gift, which is readily available and which doesn't cost anything, is to speak sweetly to somebody. Affectionate words, sweet words. Priya vakya pradhanena sarve tushyanti jantavaha. So all the living entities are satisfied simply when we speak sweetly from the heart. Where a person can relate. If something comes from the heart, it goes to the heart. If it simply comes from the head, it only goes to the head. So therefore, this is one of the best gifts which one can offer. And anyone can be satisfied. Sarve tushyanti jantava, not just humans, all living entities are satisfied by when we speak sweetly. But this verse continues to say, Tasma tadev vaktavyam. But still, there is so much poverty of sweet words, sweet heartfelt expressions. So like that. So herein we learn the importance in the first section of this chapter, the importance of speaking sweetly, affectionately, to console, to address the emotions. So this is then after speaking that, it's mentioned that Krishna and Balaram, then installed Ugrasena Maharaj. He was the king of the Mathura province previously. So Krishna and Balram, they installed Ugrasena as the king again. So now there were a number of small provinces. There was Shurasen was ruling a smaller province, and Ugrasen Maharaj was ruling the Mathura province. And the son of Shurasen is the Shauri, who is Vasudev, and then Krishna comes in that. And Ugrasen Maharaj had a brother, cousin brother, Devaka, and therefore Devaki is born. So that's how, Ugrasen is like the maternal grandfather. Strictly speaking, or exactly speaking, Ugrasen Maharaj is the uncle of Devaki. Devaka Maharaj is the father, but they are brothers. Devaka and Ugrasen are brothers. So Shurasen, in dynasty, Shauri is coming, Vasudev is coming, in Shurasen. So he is like the maternal grandfather of Krishna, paternal grandfather of Krishna, and Ugrasen is the maternal grandfather of Krishna. So after Shurasen died, Vasudev didn't become the king. He made Ugrasen as the king of his province also. So he was not interested in becoming the king, Vasudev. So he simply became one of the ministers. Had Ugrasen become the king of that province. Of course, the emperor was, the Kurus were the emperors. Right? Because of the curse of Yayati, the Kurus would not, the Yadus would not become the kings. We know that curse. The Yadi Maharaj had cursed that Yadus will not become the emperor. So they were smaller kings. The emperor were the Kurus. The smaller kings were these smaller clans, Andakas, Bhojas, and so on. Okay, so Ugrasen Maharaj became the king, right, of that province, Mathura, and also Shurasen after Shurasen died. And now Krishna again installed Ugrasen Maharaj after killing Kamsa. So it's mentioned that Ugrasen Maharaj said, no, I should not be becoming the king. Krishna, you should become the king. But Krishna refused. He said, he said, we have a curse, Yati has curse on the Yadu specifically. So Ugrasen belonged to the Bhoja dynasty, another clan, right? But not exactly Yadu clan, another clan. So you should become the king. So for several reasons, that Vasudev had refused to become the king, and Ugrasen was already the king. After Krishna killed Kamsa, Ugrasen was reinstalled as the king. Although he offered, he said, no, I should not be the king, you should be the king, Krishna. But Krishna said, no, I will simply assist you. Right? I will simply serve you. So there were two things which Ugrasen Maharaj said. First of all, he said, I don't deserve to be the king. But Krishna said, no, you should become the king. And then he said, I don't have the power, to the rule now. He expressed, I don't have the power to rule now. That means many other subordinate kings may not be, submitting to me. Krishna said, I will submit to you. So therefore, even the Devatas will submit to you. Don't worry about that. Okay? Since I will follow your orders, then who will have the audacity to disobey you? So therefore, if Krishna is on our side, then there is no power in any opponent. And if Krishna is on our side, then the Maya will not dare not disturb the devotees. So what matters is that on whose side is Krishna is. So therefore Krishna assured that there is absolutely no problem. You should become the king. And thus Krishna made Ugrasena as the king. And then also the other smaller kings of other smaller provinces is mentioned. They had run away out of the fear of Kamsa. Right? The Andakas, the Vrishnis, the Shaharhas, and so on. Smaller clans of smaller provinces. They all had run away. And then Krishna told Ugrasen Maharaj, you call them all back and let them also be, reinstated in their provinces. Let them also live happily and they will all submit to you. So like that. In this way, Krishna, completed that administrative formality. Why? Because it's important to have a good government, good administration, so that people's material desires and necessities are also met duly. So the Lord makes sure that there is everything is duly provided materially and spiritually. And Prabhupada also says in one of the purports, he says the great sages are concerned both for material and spiritual welfare of all living entities. So therefore, in this way, Krishna, by making the proper administration, made sure that all the citizens, they are cared for in every way, so that they can pursue the ultimate spiritual goal of life. So that's the second section of this chapter. Now Nanda Maharaj and other cowherd men had also come from Vrindavan, and they were staying in Mathura. So it's mentioned that when Krishna and Balram were talking to Vasudev and Devaki, that time Nanda Maharaj was not around. And when Krishna is going to, now they both are talking to Nanda and Yashoda, they were staying at a separate place. Vasudeva and Devaki are not around. So therefore, they are addressing them separately, because there is a separate mellow they have. There is a separate relationship they have. So now they have to console Nanda Maharaj, because they both are going to stay here and they're going to send him off. So that is also going to be very heavy for Nanda Maharaj. So Krishna and Balram, they both come before. I'm reading something from Krishna Book. Prabhupada says Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda were also living in Mathura in the Krishna Book. Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda were also, this is the beginning of probably 5th or 6th paragraph. Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda were also living in Mathura because Krishna and Balram were there. Actually, Mother Yashoda was not there. Mother Yashoda was not there. But this is the, because Krishna and Balram are going to address the love of their parents, Nanda and Yashoda. So therefore, Prabhupada has written that she was there. Right? So that way. So she was not physically there, you can say, but her heart was always with Krishna and Balram. Right? So therefore, in that sense, so it's a poetic lessons. Sometimes the author who gives the description can, adjust few details. The way the author narrate can change few details to convey the meaning. Without changing the meaning, some details can be adjusted, and that is known as poetic license. So therefore, though Mother Yashoda physically was not there, but since Krishna and Balram are going to address their parents, and Mother Yashoda's heart is always with Krishna and Balram, so in another sense, on another platform, she is there. But Prabhupada puts it as if she is physically there. So this is okay. This is something which the author, the narrator can adjust. This is something called poetic license. Okay, so in this way, Krishna is speaking to Nanda Maharaj, but also addressing the love of Yashoda. Krishna and Balram both are speaking. Now, I'm reading something from Krishna Book. The same paragraph, 4th or 5th line. My dear father and mother, although I was born of Vasudeva and Devaki, you have been our real father and mother, because from our very birth and childhood, you have raised us with great affection and love. Now, again, Krishna and Balram are speaking, but actually, this verse is spoken by Balramji. Krishna is not speaking. Because, Krishna can never say before Nanda and Yashoda that I have not been born from you. And it's well known fact that Balramji is a Kshatriya. He is the son of Rohini and Vasudeva. Of course, also Vasudeva and Devaki. But then from Devaki's womb, Balramji was transferred to Rohini's womb. So, this verse is spoken by Balramji, not by Krishna. That my dear father and mother, although I was born of Vasudeva and Devaki, you have been our real father and mother, because you have raised. So Balramji spoke, those who show affection, those who raise, they are actually the real parents. So in this way, Balramji addresses, and Krishna then also addresses Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj and other cowherd men. And Krishna speaks that, my dear father, Krishna expresses his heartfelt gratitude to Nanda Maharaj. And he says, look, Vasudev and Devaki and all other our relatives in Mathura, they have suffered so much. So therefore, we both want to stay for a few more days. We both want to stay for a few more days. They could not enjoy our childhood pastime. Of course, refers to Balramji over. Balramji, they should also have enjoyed the childhood pastime of Balramji, but they could not enjoy. So therefore, we want to give them some pleasure, some happiness, because they have suffered so much. And then I will come back, Krishna says. And Balramji says, I will also come back. Right? So in therefore, both of them, they pacified, they consoled, they assured Nanda Maharaj and cowherd men. And Nanda Maharaj, though his heart was very heavy, but he was very kind-hearted. He also knew that Vasudev and Devaki had suffered. So therefore, since Krishna and Balram appealed to that kind-hearted, soft nature of Nanda Maharaj, that we want to give to some pleasure to them. Therefore, Nanda Maharaj, with a heavy heart, with tears in his eyes, he embraced Krishna and Balram. It's mentioned when Krishna and Balram came, the Bhagavatam text mentioned that they embraced their father. Actually, they should have bowed down. But it said that when Krishna and Balram came in the presence of Nanda Maharaj did not give them time to bow down. He was so eager. As soon as he saw Krishna and Balram, he just went forward and embraced them. Right? So therefore, Bhagavatam says, when Krishna and Balram came, they embraced their father. Right? They wanted to bow down, but Nanda Maharaj, out of his great love and great eagerness to embrace, he didn't give them time to bow down, and therefore he just tightly embraced. And thus, with a very heavy heart, filled with emotions, Nanda Maharaj he left from Mathura. So actually, Bhagavatam is filled with the very deep emotions. So we should try to tune into the emotions of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially 10th canto. There are many beautiful terms used in the scriptures, bhava bhushan. These emotions which the devotee feel for the Lord, they are like the ornaments. Bhava bhushan, bhava sampad. These are like great opulence or great asset. So the devotional emotions which the devotee feels for Krishna, they are like the ornaments, and they are like a great wealth. They are like a sampada. They are like great opulence which the devotee possesses. So if we repeatedly hear about Krishna and invest our emotions in that reading and try to tune in to the emotions which the devotees are feeling, we'll be able to nourish ourselves with those devotional emotions also. So we can't imagine the love, the outpour of the heart of Nanda Maharaj, and how Krishna and Balram, could have consoled him and convinced him to go back without them. So like that. So it was a very deep emotional moment. And finally, Krishna and Balram managed to convince Nanda Maharaj, and he left. So after that, the fourth section of this chapter begins, wherein Vasudev, now he organized that Krishna and Balram, till now they've been herding the cows. Right? So now they should become more cultured from city's perspective. They should go attend the college and so on of Sandipani Muni. So he organized for their Upanayan Samskar to be done by Gargacharya, their Yadu's priest, who had done the Namkaran Samskar incognito. So the same Acharya, Gargacharya, he performed the Upanayan Samskar, the second initiation is given. And then that's the beginning of the Vedic study. And for study, Krishna and Balram, they themselves expressed, and also Vasudev happily agreed. They were sent to the college of Sandipani Muni, or ashram of Sandipani Muni. And there it's mentioned that both Krishna and Balram, they stayed in the ashram of their guru. They followed the principle of brahmacharya, and they stayed like they rendered humble menial service to their guru. Although they are the prince, but they offered, they served in a very menial way, and thus pleased the Guru. So actually, our understanding of spiritual knowledge does not just depend on our endeavor. It depends upon the satisfaction of our superiors also. In gaining material knowledge, there is no such concept. On my own endeavor, I can gain material knowledge. If the teacher is satisfied or not, and so on, it doesn't matter. There is no, as such, there is no concept of serving and satisfying one superior, one spiritual teacher. But actually, our spiritual understanding, depends upon the pleasure of our seniors, of our gurus. Therefore, it's important that along with gaining knowledge, there is a humble and menial service attitude. Without that attitude, we really won't be able to gain any tangible spiritual knowledge, or even if we have some knowledge, there won't be any realization. So the realization comes by menial service, and Krishna and Balram, they serve their Guru menially, and who was thus pleased and bestowed all the knowledge of all the scriptures along with the corollaries. And not just that, the scripture knowledge, he also taught them military science, the science, political science, logic, reasoning, argument, mathematics, and so on, which will be useful for them to manage their subjects. So in this way, it's mentioned that just like the ocean, which is the source of the clouds, receive back the water in the form of rain and in the form of rivers. Similarly, Krishna and Balram, who are the source of all knowledge, for the sake of setting example for us that we should receive the knowledge from the right source, they both also receive the knowledge from a bona fide spiritual master. Okay, so now Srimad Bhagavatam main text doesn't describe, it only says that they learned 64 arts in 64 days. But in Krishna book and in the purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, from other scriptures, Prabhupada has quoted and elaborately described the various 64 arts which were learned by Krishna and Balram. And these arts are very useful arts, and these arts one can serve the society, one can form meaningful relationships. So their arts really worth learning. So they learn how to sing. So I'm just I just mentioned few of them. So they learned how to sing and how to sing with different melodies, and they also learned how to dance in rhythm with the melodies. They learned painting. They learned how to perform drama. They learned how to do gopi dots, how to decorate the deities or sometimes the devotees with the dots. They learned how to decorate the floors on auspicious occasion. They also learned how to make flower arrangements, flower beds, flower bungalows, and flower clothings, and various kind of floral decorations, everything related to flower. They also learned how to set valuable jewels and ornaments. They also learned how to dress hair, and with the hair, form a crown on the head at different positions. They also learned how to make various beverages, what we call smoothies. So, so different beverages and so on, which also some kind of intoxicating beverages, but they are all in the mode of sattva guna, which doesn't put a person in ignorance. There are certain beverages which increase the sattva guna and so on, which invigorates a person. They also learned how to compose puzzles, how to solve the puzzles. They also learned the art of reading books. They also learned how to pictorially represent the knowledge. They learned architecture. They learned how to study soils and find out which soil is rich in which kinds of minerals. They learned studying various herbs and plants. So, the common, Prabhupada says, many of these knowledge were, the common day knowledge. You could have many herbs around, and when you are a little bit sick here and there, you could pluck some of the herbs, and then chew upon the leaves, or take an extract of the leaf, and you could be cured. It was a common day knowledge. And actually, we have seen many herbs are growing around, and sometimes some Ayurvedic doctors, they say, okay, pluck some leaves and daily chew upon the leaves of this plant, and it's quite beneficial. So some devotees, they do that in Govardhan Eco Village also. We have some medicinal plants also there. Used to be common day knowledge, some herbal plants, which season, which can be taken, and it balances the kapha vata pitta in the body. So all these are useful, all these useful sciences. It was not theoretical. Krishna and Balaram also learned different languages, including the languages of birds and animals. They also learned psychology, how to read others' mind, and also probably how to control others' desires. At times, how to control other minds to help them, basically. They learned, many wonderful sciences. Something about magic also they learned. If someone is holding something in the fist, right, then they could tell what is in the fist. And if someone has written something in the notebook, they could read out without opening. So some magical, it's a good entertainment, recreation, right? So all this art can be learned. Also, they learn how to be satisfied, is mentioned. Actually, that's also an art. It's not that we have to fulfill all our desires to be satisfied. There is art to be satisfied. And it's mentioned that that a Brahmana should cultivate that art of satisfaction, and that keeps the mind pure. Otherwise, the mind will always be agitated. So we should learn the art of being satisfied with whatever comes by the arrangement of the Lord, or with some endeavor. So Krishna and Balaram also learned the art to be satisfied, to keep the mind satisfied, to avoid unnecessary agitation. So in this way, they learned so many arts, 64 arts in 64 days. As I said, very practical. I just remember once Sidoli Radhana Swami Maharaj, he was talking to the brahmacharis, and he asked the brahmacharis, how many of you know how to milk the cows? And hardly anyone knew. And he said, all of you are doing youth preaching. This service is not available in the spiritual world, youth preaching service. I'm wondering what you will do when you go back to Godhead. You should also learn some useful art. So, milk cows, do some floral decorations, right? Dramas, singing, cooking, so on. Many useful. So there is some useful art we should learn, by which we can serve Krishna. And actually, there is no age of learning. One can learn at any age, and one can increase one's service to Krishna. One can go on learning. I was surprised when I read, when Madhavendra Puri, who is a Paramhamsa, who is situated above hunger and thirst, he will not realize that he has not eaten for 2-3 days. He will not realize whether it is day or night. Can you imagine the person who is so absorbed, not realizing that it's what time of the day it is? That person wants to learn a recipe of a kheer, Amrit Keri. And when he heard that there is something which is cooked especially for Gopinath at Ramana, he became interested in learning that kheer, so that he can offer the same to his DD Gopal. Right? So therefore, actually, there's a joy in always learning and expanding one's services. There's a joy. So we can continue to learn when the facility comes. There's no age. We can learn and we can serve the Lord, serve the devotees, and that keeps the devotional service also lively. So Krishna and Balaram, they learned so many practical arts which could be of great use. And finally, their spiritual master was very, of course, he was very much pleased with them. And in order to further please their spiritual master, they said, we want to offer you Guru Dakshina. Now, Sandipani Muni is also intelligent. He's an Acharya, he's very intelligent. And every good husband should consult his wife on all critical decisions. So Sandipani Muni consulted his good wife. He consulted his good wife, and they both agreed that we should not just accept an ordinary Guru Dakshina, we should accept something extraordinary. They both considered that we will request him to bring back our dead son who has suddenly disappeared, and we had not known about whereabouts. Only Krishna, only they can bring them back. So they both expressed this. Now this is usually against the law of the nature, but they both expressed this. And Krishna and Balaram, since they have given the words, nothing is against, because nature belongs to them. All the rules have been set forth by them. So therefore Krishna and Balaram said, fine, we'll bring your dead son back. So then Krishna and Balaram, so that they found out that he just disappeared. He went to Prabhashetra, and on the shore of the ocean he disappeared. So Krishna and Balaram went to Prabhashetra. Right? Today also, this is the place where the Lord also, closed his pastime, Prabhashetra. This is Somnath, the beautiful dham of Lord Shiva. Somnath is situated on the ocean at Prabhashetra, and so many pilgrims today also go. When they visit Dwarka, they also plan to visit Somnath, which is Prabhashetra. It's a Shiva Kshetra, Lord Shiva. Beautiful monumental temple is there. Okay, so Krishna and Balaram went to Prabhashetra, and then they addressed the ocean god, and they summoned him and said, please give back the son of our spiritual master, Sandipani Muni. The ocean god appeared, and he said, actually, I have not taken their son. The demon named Panchajana, he has devoured the son of your spiritual master, and he is hiding within my depths. So Krishna and Balaram jumped in the ocean, and they traced this demon Panchajana, and they killed the demon, and they recovered. Before they could not find the son of the teacher, but they recovered. Krishna got a conch shell. The conch shell which they recovered, at times it is said that the conch shell was the outer body of the demon, but Vishwanath Thakur says the conch shell was within the body of the demon. Either way, the conch shell which is born of Panchajana demon is called Panchajanya. So this is Krishna, what Krishna blew. Panchajanyam Rishikesha Devadattam Dhananjaya. And we hear from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna blew this conch shell. So this conch shell, actually this conch shell eternally belongs to the Lord, but this is how Krishna retrieves it. So it's mentioned that Krishna was omniscient. He knew that the son of my spiritual master is not in the ocean. But Krishna went to the ocean only to deliver this demon Panchajana, who was actually his associate, who was circumstantially cursed, just like Jai Vijay. So this Panchajana demon was Lord associate, who was circumstantially cursed. The Lord went to the ocean, knowing very well the son of my spiritual master is not there, to deliver this demon and to recover his conch shell, which is eternal paraphernalia. The Lord, fulfilled these two purposes. It was a side track. He took a digression from his main task, and then he went to the abode of Yamaraj, where he knew that the dead son, the spiritual master, is over there. So he went to the abode of Yamaraj, and it's mentioned that as soon as Krishna, he went to the city, the name of city is mentioned, Samyamani. He blew his conch shell Panchajanya, and just by the sound of this conch shell, it's mentioned that the hell called Asit Patra, where there are like the leaves of this, there is a tree, or there are many trees, where the leaves are like swords, and the sinful souls, they are dragged, they are thrown on the top and forcefully pulled down, and the person's body is torn apart by the sharp like leaves of this tree, Asit Patra. As soon as Krishna blew the conch shell, all the leaves of this Asit Patra tree, they fell down. Sometimes we see in the fall season, all the leaves fall down from the trees. So all these sharp leaves, they fell down. There is another hell, Raurava, where there are very ferocious looking Ruru animals. Right? and all those animals, they immediately left that place. In another hell, Kumbhi Pak, the sinners were being boiled. Immediately the oil became cold. Right? That was all by the sound vibration. So therefore, by the sound vibration of Krishna's counsel, by the spiritual sound, all the sinners were liberated from hell. So therefore, sound vibration has the power to liberate. So therefore, our main process of spiritual, of course, for us, spiritual liberation means to serve the Lord eternally, is possible through sound vibration, spiritual sound vibration. So by this, the sound of Lord counsels, all the sinners in the hellish planets were delivered. So then Yamaraj, who is the Mahajana, he welcomed Krishna and Balaram. He offered worship and he humbly inquired how he can serve. And then Krishna and Balaram expressed their desire. And the Lord said, though it is against the laws of nature, but still on our order, you can do that. So therefore, the Krishna is the lawmaker. He can give an exception. The lawmaker can give an exception to the law. Although the Lord usually doesn't do that, but he is independent. Therefore, the Lord told him, retrieve back. Now the son may have lost the body, but it's very much within the power of Yamaraj. The same soul was again given the same body which has been destroyed, and Krishna brought back the son of Sandipani Muni again back to the ashram, and they were so pleased to have their son back, and thus they bestowed heartfelt blessings. And the blessing which they gave is that whatever you have learned may ever remain fresh, because we may learn something, but then it may not remain fresh. We may forget in due course of time. Sanatana Goswami also begs this benediction from the Lord Chaitanya. My Lord, you have taught me great Siddhant. Please give me a blessing that all this Siddhant may always manifest in my heart. Because we may hear many things, but then we, not able to act by that. It doesn't remain in the heart. It doesn't manifest always. Especially it doesn't manifest when we need it. Okay? When we need it. So therefore, may this knowledge always remain fresh and may always manifest in your heart. That was the blessing given. And that was the blessing we should always seek, right, from our from our superiors, from our spiritual gurus. So this blessing was given, and also the Lord, the Sandipani Muni said, not just it will all remain fresh, but when you will teach it to others, you will increasing realization of this knowledge, and thus whatever you will teach will become very renowned. And therefore it said that Prabhupada writes, by the benediction of Sandipani Muni, Krishna's Bhagavad Gita is renowned, not just on this planet, but in other planets also. Right? So Bhagavad Gita is the most renowned book, and the credit is given to Sandipani Muni's blessings. And Lord also loves to give credit to his devotees. So in this way, Krishna and Balaram, thus they fully satisfied their spiritual master, and receiving his blessings, they returned back to Mathura to be again with their parents. So in this way, today we discussed this 5 episodes in this chapter. Krishna consoling Vasudeva and Devaki, speaking from the emotions and not objectively as such, not from the head. Then he installed Ugrasen Maharaj as the king and made sure that administration is proper, so that all the citizens are also taken care of materially and also spiritually. Then Krishna and Balaram bid farewell to Nanda Maharaj. Then Vasudeva arranged for the second initiation and Gurukul study of Krishna and Balaram. And after learning all the great traditional practical arts, they both satisfied their teacher by offering the Guru Dakshina, which was impossible for anyone else to be offered. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai God Premanande. Hare Krishna. So our time is over. It is 7:30, right? 7:30 in New Zealand.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. Sharp on time, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class. And there were so many things, so many pastimes in that one chapter, but you have covered them all in a very short period of time, and also covering all the lessons and learnings from the pastime. You still have some time, Prabhuji, for taking some questions?
Yes, I'll be happy to have some more
Okay.
association with you all.
Kirtivanta Prabhuji, go ahead, Prabhuji, with your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhamma pranams. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your class today. My question is regarding that. I'm sure you've had this question a lot in terms of when you've got a guru who is teaching Krishna and Balaram about spiritual science and everything like that, how can we understand how they're still quite bodily attached to their son, to ask Lord Krishna for their son back who has passed? When we're trying to learn about that we're the soul, we're not the body, and things like that, and which is what I assume Lord Krishna and Balaram were also being taught in the ashram and things like that, then to have the teacher still request the son back.
Okay, good question. Yeah, very thoughtful question. Sandipani Muni, how could he still have attachment to his son? They are the teachers of Krishna and Balaram. So let's say we can see from we can try to understand from two perspectives. One thing is that it's not that the devotees cannot love their children, relatives, kinsmen. That love, if it is centered around Krishna, that is real. So that love centered around Krishna is real. So therefore, all emotions with the right understanding, with the spiritual understanding, all the relationships which we have, right, which are not based on ignorance of the body, the same relationships, the same love can be there. Again, the Arjuna also cried when Abhimanyu died. He took a vow. He was with Krishna. Again, how could he cry on a material platform? So no. So there are the feelings, or on a spiritual platform, there are even deeper feelings. Which is not based upon body. So therefore, based upon spiritual understanding, there can be love. So the love for children, for the parents, that they have been gift of Krishna to us, right? We want to take care of them. So that love is very much, that's not against the principle of devotional service. That is one thing. Yeah, and second thing is also, at times there are devotees who may not desire children. They may just accept the Lord as their child, and they may be satisfied. Other times, the devotee may desire children as as they feel inspired from within. So therefore, the emotions of the devotees are also inspired by the Lord from within the heart. Just like Srivas Thakur, his son died, he didn't desire from the Lord to bring back the son. And the Lord said, now we too are your sons. So therefore, the devotees sometimes may not desire the children. At times they may desire. So therefore, both are compatible as they feel inspired from within the heart, how the Lord inspires them. But they are not in ignorance. That's the whole point. Those are the spiritual relationships which are not based upon body are real. Hare Krishna. I hope
Thank you,
that
Prabhuji.
answers your question, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes.
There is one more question from Sudharma Prabhu or Sudharma Mataji. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful pastime, Prabhuji. It was very interesting. We many things we could actually know which we weren't aware of. Thank you, Prabhuji, for that. Prabhuji, my question is, you said like words spoken from heart should not be analyzed with the head. and that may lead to incompatibility, right?
Yeah, sometimes misunderstanding.
Yeah. So how, like, generally they say, like, I've sometimes what we speak, we may not be meaning that, but it may reach in a different way. So maybe like we say from the heart, but the other person would have, like, when they analyze a bit more, then that may
Yeah,
interpret in a different way. So
yeah,
where is the fine line, like, when you are, how to know, like, and also same from the other way as well, we don't want to be doing the same, analyzing more of what somebody has spoken to us as well. So where is the fine line for this? How do you know, like, it is just something from the heart and it should not be actually taken so seriously or analyzed so badly? Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Again, a very thoughtful, deep question. Um, so it's said that the fine line, or the balance, can be drawn like this. Uh, we should judge others by their intentions, even if they've spoken some word which is wrong. But we should always see, their intentions are good. That person is my well wisher. So the person has spoken something harshly. That person actually is my well wisher. He's a nice devotee. So we should judge other by their intentions, but we should take responsibility of our words and actions also, and we should not justify our words or actions by our intentions. That I had a good intention, but I just spoke something which was hurting to you. You should not do that. So therefore, devotees should be very cautious, and devotees should learn the right way of acting, speaking. Right? If I have spoken something which is hurting to others, then I should immediately apologize, even though I had no bad intention. But or even though I spoke which I consider is normal for me, the way I speak, but someone perceived it harshly, some devotee. Still, I should the etiquette, the final etiquette is I should try to appease that devotee and apologize. Why? Because as long as some devotees' emotions are hurt, will not feel emotion for Krishna. If some devotees having emotions have been hurt by us, knowingly, unknowingly, directly, indirectly, and we come to know that devotee has been hurt, right, unintentionally by me, I didn't even know. I may just be looking at my mobile phone and pass, and I didn't acknowledge somebody. Right? Sometimes it happens nowadays. We may bypass somebody looking at a mobile screen, and some devotee may want to greet us, and that devotee may feel hurt. If we come to know, then we should try to, again, we should try to address it at least. But I'm sorry that I didn't notice you. You may have felt bad, but I was reading something, which was exciting or which was important, whatever it is. So we should still address the emotions of devotee, because Krishna takes the emotions of his devotee very seriously. And if some devotee's emotions have been hurt by us, we're not going to feel emotion for Krishna. So that's the bottom line. So therefore, we take responsibility of our words, but as to draw the balance. If some devotee has spoken something maybe hurting, then we should just take the good intentions and not take it seriously. So that will bring that will keep the relationships good. Each devotee should strive in this way. That will harmonize everything. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Huh?
Very insightful.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. There is one more question from Bharatwaj Rishi Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Thank you for the
Hare Krishna,
nice lecture,
Dandavat.
Prabhuji. Thank you. Prabhuji, my question is slightly off topic. It's more about information. So, Prabhuji, like, Sandipani Muni's son, actually, he's already gone to Yamalok, like where Yamaraj was there. Right. So, how does that happen? Like in general, like, once a soul leaves the body, it may go on to different planets, right? Depending on their pious credits or bad credits, so they may go up or down. So like, will they be born again, or like what kind of bodies they take? And is the birth, see, because we have been learning that the four miseries are always existing in the entire material universe, but but in different planets, like say for example Brahma has only intelligence body of intelligence only, like like as we go to different planets, like only certain elements are also only there. How does that work out? Like how do we born and die? Yeah, how does that work?
Okay, so it's mentioned that after the death, another body is given to the soul. Of course, the subtle body remains. There is a sharir called Pret Sharir, Pret. And in that body, if a person is not liberated, then that person goes to the abode of Yamaraj. So, to the degree the person is sinful, to that degree the journey is very torturous. The journey is very torturous. Details are mentioned. But a person not sinful, then the journey is smooth. So then Yamaraj, it's mentioned that it takes 24 hours for a person to reach Yamaraj. 24 hours of Devatas. That means 1 year. 1 year of humans. So 1 year is a journey from here to the abode of Yamaraj. And then Yamaraj, again depending upon the person's karma, he gives the judgment. How much the suffering in the hell will be, or a person will be directly born somewhere, right? So he gives the judgment, and then the next birth is facilitated. So the decision making with the Yamaraj. So therefore, in this case, it seemed like that the soul had not taken another birth; it was still in the abode of Yamaraj. And it looks like Yamaraj was knowing that Krishna is going to come or visit, so the soul was still there. Right? And so then probably Yamaraj had a good guest house where he was, right? Where he was giving the accommodation to this son of Sandipani Muni, and there Krishna came and retrieved back. So another body was then facilitated. And the Yamaraj then facilitates next birth to the soul based upon the karma. Right? Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji, partially. But Prabhuji, one more question is that, in Swarga, actually, the demigods, actually, they fought for nectar. And they are supposed to get full life. Like, nectar is like immortal, right? In a way. But then, we also learn that, they actually, as soon as the past credits are done, they just fall down. So how does that work? Like, so what is the what is the significance of nectar then, if they're actually about to fall down? If they're going to fall down anyway?
Yeah, basically that nectar keeps them, free from all kind of diseases, invigorates them. Right? So, a person is always sickly, is like half dead, something like that. So Amrit, it just, it's not absolute. It's not an absolute they are immortal. It gives them invigoration of the body, okay? Enliven, to keep their senses, no disease. So they drink like this. So sickly person is like half dead, something like that.
Right.
So it's not absolute immortality for sure.
Right. Sure.
Fine.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we have.
Looks like there is one more question, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Do you still have some more time?
Yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. Pundarikaksha, Prabhuji. Please go ahead.
Meant to glorify the Lord. Serve devotees.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice lecture, Prabhuji. Particularly question and answers, really amazing, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for that. Prabhuji, I have a doubt on Krishna book mentioning about Mother Yashoda is there, and Krishna and Balaram talks to Mother Yashoda, but actually she never came out of Vrindavan, right, Prabhuji? I mean, that's what I'm not very sure about it, but actually I was thinking that Mother Yashoda never came out of Vrindavan, and Bhagavatam also never said that. I think at least in the chapter it was not mentioned there. So how to understand that?
I already said when we were talking that Prabhupada is writing that Krishna and Balaram are speaking to Nanda and Yashoda, but Mother Yashoda is not there physically present. Mother Yashoda is not there physically present. So it is that she is present by her love, right? Or because Krishna and Balaram, they are addressing, through Nanda Maharaj, they are addressing their parents. So Prabhupada has just said that they are addressing Nanda and Yashoda because they are addressing their parents. So from that perspective, we can understand. Although physically, Mother Yashoda was not present in Mathura.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for a wonderful lecture as well as a very nice question and answer session after that. Thank you for your wonderful association. And to show our gratitude, let us all chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once again for Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. His grace Damodar Prabhuji ki.
Jai.